All right, welcome to round two of Breakfast Club in Black Lion's Domain. J Ma from Igniting the Passion is gone now. Thank you very much, love, for the lengthy conversation about our book and being introverted. And we should actually know, because we're all introverts in that book for the most part. So you are not to be blamed at all, my cutie little Asian kids. No, you're not. Completely. We all should have been accountable on ourselves and each other, like I said before. So JMI, do not feel sad that our book is coming out in January, you goofball woman. All right, with that said, my guest was a recommendation of one David Vine. He has known her for an X amount of years, and he was telling me about her multi times before. And he said to me last week, "Oh, I want you to actually interview her." I said, "Okay, why not? Why not?" And me and her, we were already talking before even David actually had that cockamamie emotion in his mind. We were already talking, and then I love her to pieces. No, what did I say now? I love her wholly, not pieces. I love her wholly. And before we really get knee deep into your intro, congratulations are in order to you and your husband, my dear, for your marriage.
That's 45 years, yeah.
Yes. I even said that at the end of David's thing. So congratulations again, my beautiful honey. All right. So with that said, multiple times best-selling author, mentor, speaker, coach, and more. With that said, welcome to Black Lion's Domain for what I call universal grounding. Trish Springsteen, how are you, my dear?
Absolutely fine. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share some of my thoughts. And I'm delighted to find out a bit more about you as well.
Oh, it's absolutely fun. We're going to actually have so much fun. All right. So with that said, I actually came along on this thing called Igniting the Passion. And I've been running my mouth about it for some time now. So Cliff Notes, kids. I actually got approached by one David Vine in the summer of this year. And he said, "Oh, why don't you join me in this book that I'm doing with 5 other people, not including my co-publisher?" I said, "Okay, why not? It's not like I'm not doing anything else." And so off to the races we went, and for months on end, I actually have been working on this thing. I gave it in, and David Vine just automatically said in the group chat, "I want you to interview every single person." And I said, "All right, well, I'll do it." So Trish and I, we went aside and we started to get to know each other a bit better. And as I alluded to, she's actually got a 45-year marriage. I heard about that and I said, "God bless you, hon. God bless you, hon. That's great beats." Oh man. And I seen your wedding pictures. It's something to behold. And if a man could cry, I would gladly do so. That's just a beautiful thing that you and your husband have. God bless you, dear. God bless you. Oh, but you want to know some of the kids that won me over with her? That's not just being a mentor, speaker, coach, and author. This hun has been doing like 25 days of Christmas so far. And she's like doing these little outfits where she's like, all right, one day she's like a Christmas tree, and then another day she's like Santa and all this other jazz. I saw her actually wear a unicorn shirt. I said, "Oh, mature unicorn, you won me over. You won me over, you beautiful hun." Yes. All right. So that's how I actually got into her fan club. You gotta be a unicorn. That just tripped Zachary Shiloh out. And you can actually thank a certain somebody named Tammy Lambrow. I heard her actually say, "Oh, I'm a unicorn," and then other people in our group actually start calling themselves unicorns. And I'm like, "Well, I got the rare breeds, kids. I got the rare breed of human beings." So this is the most mature one of them all. She's wonderfully up past 50. I said, "Ooh, God bless her. Don't she look great, kids? Don't you just want to give her a hug and say, you look great for your age?" Yes. Oh God, I gladly would. I gladly would. You should too, kids. Just just enjoy her energy. All right. With that said, my dear Trish, I believe we're on the deadline because well, one Terry Tonkin should be on the way. All right. So with that said, can you please give my listeners your background, beloved?
Oh, my background. How long have we got, Zachary? How long have we got? Look, uh, my passion is helping people because I am an introvert as well. And I'm quite up
Uh-huh.
about that. Way back, I always say way back in the Jurassic period when I left high school, which is a long, long time ago, I was not only an introvert, but I was extremely shy. So if you spoke to anybody who knew me then and tell them what I'm doing now, they'd probably be rolling around on the floor laughing because that wasn't me. And in the book, Ignite the Passion, I share quite a bit of my story about how I got to what I'm doing now. What I do now is I love working with people. I work with mostly business startups, solo entrepreneurs, and I help them to get known, be seen. So it may be I help them to be able to speak. I'm a speaker coach, and I've been a speaker coach for many years. But it's more than that. It's about helping them to apply that speaking to share their message. It's helping them to do videos. It's helping them to write their books, to repurpose and leverage their books and market their books. It's all about helping them to believe in themselves, which is what I found on my journey. If you don't believe in yourself, it's so very hard to help anybody else. So the basis is believe in yourself, and then it opens up opportunities. So that's what I do. I'm a mentor. I'm a multi-international award-winning mentor. I'm an international award-winning best-selling author. I'm what we call Australia's leading expert in empowering introverts. But most specifically, I'm what you could call now a creative marketing consultant because I bring all of those different things I do under my Purple Unicorn Marketing Academy.
Yes, 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 yes. We need more unicorns like you in the world. Oh, yes, we do. Speaking of which, my lovely unicorn hunt, how did you actually become a best-selling author?
When I first started my business in 2006. And at that time, I had been working a lot on myself to be able to be mostly a speaker coach. I did a lot of, started with a business partner at that time. We did a lot of corporate training, a lot of business training. And then as everybody does in business and in their own personal growth, if you don't move and change, be flexible, you're going to stagnate. So with trends in the world and the global financial crisis, a lot of our corporate work dried up. Then went into a lot more mentoring, one-on-one, and expanded in that respect. Then when we first started, we together wrote our first book. And at that time, that was about 2007. Ooh. And we wrote that book because credibility, putting ourselves a little bit outside other people to stand out. And where it really first started was that both my business partner and I are pretty lazy. We didn't want to have to sit and write a whole book. So we'd been blogging for many years, for quite a few years. And what we did was we took our favorite blogs, changed the titles, tweaked it a bit more, added a few more little examples, and that became our book. So you don't have to write a book and from go to woe if you've got a lot of content. If you've been doing blogs, you can do all sorts of things about getting a book out a lot easier than you think. Anyway, fast forward about 5 years ago, and my partner and I, business partner and I, had split up amicably. She went one way, and I was delving more into the personal development and mentoring. And I got asked to contribute about 5 years ago. Up to that stage, I had 2 books. And I got asked to contribute about 5 years ago to a chapter in a book in America. And up that stage, I had worked on my speaking. I was a speaker. I was a trainer. I was a mentor. I was not a writer as far as I was concerned. That was something I'd done with my business partner. I had my own book out and we got a book out, and that was fine. So I kept saying no. Until one day I sort of went, Trish, you're telling people to step up and do things. You're telling people to step outside their comfort zone. What do you think you're doing? So I said, okay, I'll do the chapter. And I thought, it's okay. It's a book in America. No one's going to read it. If it's terrible, no one in Australia is going to know. You know, the funny thing is, Zachary, everybody in Australia read the freaking thing. So I liked it. So from there, I got over my mindset because I'd had this mindset. And I realized that I write like I speak. And so in that last 5 years, I've actually done 15 books that I've authored and co-authored and been a contributing author to. When you get over that mindset and you realize that if you want your message to get out there, you need to share it. And it's selfish to let fear, to let mindset stop you from getting out there, because I realized books for me now are a legacy. I talk a lot about leaving a legacy, because even if someone picks up my book now, it could be one on my own, or it could be one that I've contributed a chapter to. Even if they just read one paragraph, one chapter, a few words, and it resonates with them and maybe changes something that they were going to do or helps them to do something, then I've left a legacy. And by not writing, I was being selfish in that respect. And it's the same I talk to with my mentoring clients. If you don't get up to speed, it's being selfish, because people may need to hear that one word that you've got. So that's why I did that. And in amongst all that, I became a best-selling author. 2 or 3 of my books on Amazon have gone to #1 best-selling. In some of my compilation ones that I've done. One of my latest compilation ones actually is this one, which is Forever Changed by Suicide. That's got 23 authors in. That went to #1 best-selling in 3 countries. And in Australia, it was #1 bestseller straight across Australia. So I've also won a couple of awards for my speaking in that. So in my writing as well. So basically, how did I get there? Overcome your fear, overcome that mindset, just do it and have freaking fun doing it, Zachary.
I'm getting tingly all up in my back, man. That's absolutely cool beats. My dear, I don't know if you follow quite so much my posts on our group when they actually started to come around. But I'm a pending 7 times best-selling author, and I'm in awe of myself and all these co-authorings I've done. A good portion of them, I would say, David Vine, our dear friend, actually had some hand in. The very first book I ever did was a book called They Are Magic, and he was one of the other co-authors in it. So we get through doing it, and it becomes a bestseller. Sometime after, he's the one that actually convinces me to go meet this beautiful blonde by the name of Melly DeVoe, or what did I used to say? Melly Dusselbox. I slaughtered her last name for months on end. I never knew what it was. And she actually did like a series of interviews with different people that were in this book series that was called Letters of Love. And I said, oh, okay, your last name is DeVoe. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I did actually apologize to her when we actually did my interview for Letters of Love too. I said, I'm sorry, Melly Love. I slaughtered your last name. I thought your last name was Dulcibooks. I'm sorry, but it's DeVoe. It's kind of like a black man's name from this music group called New Edition. I said, oh, okay. It's DeVoe. It's DeVoe, but it's more French now. Please forgive me. And I keep on saying this out loud, humbly and gratefully. I love you.
I'm so tricky.
I say it humbly. I love you, Melly Love, or Melly DeVoe. Please forget Zachary Shiloh or Zachary Shiloh Watts for slaughtering your last name. I'm sorry. But it's all good. I learned your last name properly 3 to 4 months ago. So yeah, I should be forgiven and all's good. Back to David Vine. So he inspired that thing, and then he somehow, some way pulled me aside. He said, "Oh, I want you to join this book I'm doing, Igniting the Passion." I said, "Okay, why not?" So I keep on going along with that eventually, and two other books came. One that's an erotica. I'm shocked I'm in an erotica to have my seventh. I'm like, what? Seriously? Seriously? And it feels unreal. I even pitch myself right now, and I'm like, yeah, it's real. It's real. So the most recent book is called Magical Miracles, and I'm happy and grateful it's out. But I was thinking, love, that our book, our book, Igniting the Passion, would have been out by now. Oh God. And I love Dave, I love Jay, but I had about enough of waiting for them. I did. I was patient. I know you were. I know Terry, who's getting ready to join me shortly, was. Everybody was. But at the rate it was going, somebody needed to speak up. I think somebody needed to
Actually forgotten about it, if you to tell the truth, Zachary, because I was
right.
I was rereading my
yes, I was right. Oh God.
I was reading well, I do a lot of chapters for people, and sometimes I actually, when David asked me to do a chapter for this one, I actually thought, oh, not really, David, because I had just finished quite a few, and I said I was really concentrating on a couple of my own books at the moment.
Oh
said,
yeah.
Why did you do that? And I said, okay, so I wrote it, and I was just actually rereading what I wrote because I'd forgotten what I wrote. So I was rereading what I wrote before I came on, and I thought, oh, that was like nearly a year, a bit more ago. And I thought, oh, okay. And I had actually forgotten it. And every now and then I said to Dave, how's that book coming? He said, it's doing okay. I thought, okay, no problems, because I had so many other things I was doing. So I'm really very glad that we're now coming together and it's going to be out there. But Zachary, a book comes in its own time. A book comes in its own time. Some books come very quickly. Some books need to percolate and just gel together, and then they come.
Well, thank God it came out, because if it wasn't, David Vine and Jerry Ma would have heard Zachary Shiloh Watts' voice. And when I get angry, peaked angry, I'm not nice to be around. I will admit it. David Vine's actually felt my full fury before. He knows me better than anybody. That's not named Blair Hayes, Melly DeVoe, or Veronica Sanchez Zarabias. He knows me too well. That's why he brought me on in the first place. He was noticing that I was actually doing all these co-authoring and whatnot. I gotta believe, and wanted somebody that could even out his team. So I said, okay. And that was kind of a process, as you hit on. I was kind of zoinked at that point, or that's my way of saying kind of like farted or whatever. I tried my best to actually get it done within a month, but something was not hitting. I don't know why. Besides me being busy, I don't know why it wasn't coming for me. But then all of a sudden, I hit it with Jay, and I hit it here again. And I'll say this, a certain Polish love comes around earlier, and I'm feeling inspired. I'm doing my chapter dedicated to her in Rebel Romance. And then Magical Miracles was announced. I go back and do that thing too. And from those two being combined, I said, okay, what's going on here? And then I said, I could go back to Igniting the Passion. I have answers. And I went down and I answered different things. And lo and behold, I finished off my chapter. And it was kind of fun to just have a break and go along with it. But somebody needed to speak up eventually. And I had to be that one. I had to be. Because I don't know when you were probably going to speak up, if you were, And I know you were eventually. Something told me. But I said, okay, you've already had about, what is it, 5, 6 months, I think.
Oh, it's been 12 months, exactly.
What? Oh, Igniting the Passion, our book was 12 months?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh,
Yeah.
God. So good thing I did speak up. Oh, God.
Oh, it's okay. I said a book comes and when it's ready. And I mean, let me say, it's 12 months since I wrote it. So he may have taken a bit longer to get a couple more people in. But I know Terry and I, we wrote ours pretty well as soon as he said it and gave it to him. So I think it's pretty well 12 months ago that we wrote our chapters. Yeah.
Oh, God bless you, beautiful Hans. Again, applause to you both.
Okay. I've got a lot of books around. And as I said, a book comes in its own time. Zach, it's just when it's ready, it's ready. And some books are pretty quick and some books take a while.
Right on. And speaking of my bestsellerships, somebody asked me, and now I can say this person's name out loud. It was Melody DeVoe, the publisher of the Letters of Love series. She was pulling me aside one day and she asked me, Zach, why do you always go on about your bestsellerships? Why are they so important to you? And I did hint at it with David, so it's worth repeating with you. I chase these things because, number one, I actually had a hint of just one, and I had an adrenaline rush. Then from that point forward, it was like different reasons came out. The second reason for me, I would say, is it defined a near 2-year journey. Like, I never imagined in my wildest dreams when I actually was a type 2 diabetic and I was just journaling with a pen, something like this. And I was gazing at it with David, and I'll do it with you. All right, so I never thought in my wildest dreams that this thing in my hand would cause me so much transformation, that it would get me almost to your status. I always thought that when I was using this, all I wanted to do was just write my goals, achieve my goals. But then it took a life of its own. And then the likes of you, him, Melly DeVoe, my dear friend Blair Hayes, and many more started coming into my life because I was willing to even try and go for a bestsellership or publish authorship. And then once it really started to hit me, like I'm a multi-time best-selling author, it really made me like it. And kids out there, if you were not watching, my eyes were bulging out my head. So that's an explanation. All right, so back to this importance of the bestsellerships. I say that not only was it a near 2 years journey, but it is justification in an industry where people feel as if they're not really hurt, where they actually think they're powerless. And it is powerful. It is truly a powerful thing to be a writer overall, regardless of introvert, extrovert, or what I call myself ambivert. It really shows one's dedication, all these best authorships. Not only that, but it was absolutely fun just to try and catch up to a certain Polish love. My beloved Polish love, the main chapter or subject, main subject of my chapter in a erotica called Rebel Romance. I loved her. I loved what she brought to my life, and I wanted to make that known. And she was not just my chapter. She really is a co-author in it. She actually has had 6, 7 best authorships. When a certain third book I was in called Ascension dropped, I had half of what she had. And we're roughly about the same age. So I said to myself, ooh, that's pretty cool beans. And it inspired me to go chasing to get towards her. But I didn't know this, what I'm getting ready to say. I thought she and our dear friend Janet Brunt were working on a solo book together. And that would have been Polish Love's 7. But then one day at work, I'm doing something I can't stand, and that's pretty much standing on my feet for almost 10 to 12 hours straight. I said, all right, let's not make this nothing hell for myself. Let's think about the Polish Love, my dear friend from Scotland. Let's think about that. And then it hit me. I said, what? It's not only going to be my 7th, it's hers. We both have 7 solo. And this is our 2nd together. But the biggest thing for me is the shocker that me and the Polish Love, we're getting ready to tie with one of the greatest self-help teachers of all time. Excuse me. Who has had 13 general books, but 7 bestsellers. And I keep on saying this woman's name out loud, and I do so proudly. Her name is Marianne Williamson. And when I found that stat out, I cried. Like, how did I amass practically almost half of what she has and exactly the same amount of bestsellers that she's had? And not even a full-fledged year of my first co-authoring. That still boggles my mind sometimes. Like, this is my reality. A good lot of people that worked with a certain Blair Hayes, they only amassed like maybe 2 max, depending on the situation, except for maybe 2 women that I can think off of the top of my head. And if a certain Blair Hayes ever watches this, please correct me if I'm wrong. One is the most tenured author by the name of Jennifer Kirsch. And the other, I gotta believe, is my dear friend named Stephanie Mahoney, who I think has about like 4 bestsellerships, three or 4. Me combined with the Blurkins, that's like about 3.
Awesome.
I'm like, what? Nobody else has ever touched her? But then Magical Miracles hits, and I have half, literally half of what Blair Hayes has. I thought our book, Igniting the Passion, was going to be out way before Magical Miracles. And if it was going to be out like sometime this year, it would have maybe been roughly the same week.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have had 6 with Magical Miracles. Hence the title, Black Lions Roar 6. I really thought by giving David and Jay number 5 that Magical Miracles would have actually came out at a later point, and that would have been my 6th. But the fact that it's 5, I'm not completely complaining, because it's the Introverts Club. And who better than an introvert to understand the other introverts of the world? So David, Vine, and Jay, if you're listening to this, you crazy hunts. I'm not crucifying you completely. I'm not. Because both of you had your own darknesses to deal with, especially you, David. Especially you, who ghosted me. You crazy son of a gun. You ghosted me and you tried to say, no, you didn't, but you kind of did. You know it. But I respect you. I still love you. But these authorships, I wanted them and I got them. And I'm still working toward them. But the biggest thing for me, why they are so important, is for a solo book. I never wrote a solo book. the original Black Lions Roar, which is in They Are Magic. That was supposed to be a solo book, but I was going nowhere with it. Like you said, many people in our industry, they will do something and then they'll procrastinate and it will never ever get done. I was trying my best to get it done, but then Blair Hayes showed up and I said, give it to her, give it to her. Let's put it in the hands of somebody that knows what they're doing.
Zachary, you can still use it in your own book.
I am. I'm getting to that point.
You do your book.
I am. But I'm saying that the original one, the original BLR, I put it off for way too long and I had to get it out. And if I didn't put it in the hands of Blair, I probably would not be here right now. And I'm not saying that to kiss up the Blair. It's the truth. I can feel it. I can see it in my mind now. If I never put BLR out, I wouldn't be here. So I say again, time and again, thank you to Blair for even giving me my slot. She was sitting exactly where you are over a year ago, and she gave it to me right there and then. I don't know what made her really do it besides out of a love and respect for a dear friend of ours named Linda Carducci. But I think I touched her from one introvert to another. I keep on saying it. The Blurkins, she may be extroverted, but she's deep inside an introvert. I think that's why me and her work well. So awesome. I always say this, thank you very much. And that's why those authorships mean a lot to me, because I was inspired by others and I never stopped. But now looking at a certain David Vine, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop for a while. But I already have one co-authoring at the ready. And that's for a book called Leaders. If and where Blair Hayes actually puts it out, that's when I will return. Sorry, David, I'm not joining you in the almighty Blurkins for Dreams. You two can have fun with that solo and whoever else joins you.
You got to pace yourself, Zachary, and you should only contribute a chapter when it resonates with you or there's something about it that speaks of you. And that's how I do mine. So sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Oh, that's what's going on with me. I had enough of the co-authoring for a while, and I've seen how much it drives David, but at the same point in time, I think it kind of drives him crazy.
Well, I've been a contributing author. I've also facilitated 4 compilations. So, and I've done my own books and I've co-authored books. So I've done all of the different sorts. So sometimes it's good just to work on your own book, because then you only have yourself to worry about. You don't have to herd all the other people together. Facilitating a compilation can be a bit tricky sometimes.
Oh, yes, it is. And that book is still writing in my head. It's like the freshest stuff is like replaying in my head. And if I'm not really like writing in my head, then somehow, some way, sometimes I actually put stuff on mobile device or pen and paper, different outlets. I'm just like, okay, right. Some people even just ask me sometimes, knowing me, "Oh, Zach, what's up? Are you writing?" I said, when I'm not writing. When am I not writing? I'm always writing. If I'm not in my head, then I'm writing on paper. If I'm not writing on paper, then in a mobile device. I'm always at the writing.
That's good.
One of my favorite rappers is named Ice Cube. And there's a movie, quote unquote, that depicts him and the rap group NWA. So we meet the Ice Cube character sometime in the 1980s, and he hangs out with his friend Dr. Dre and Dr. Dre's cousin Sir Jinx. So they're mixing around with music, and Dr. Dre asks him, "Cube, you got the rhymes?" And he said, "Dude, I always got the rhymes. Always got the rhymes." And he shows him the freaking notebook, and I said, "That's me." That's me. I actually always got the writings in my head.
That's right. Keep them down there because they don't get lost then.
Yeah, and lo and behold, I found out that I'm more like Ice Cube than I thought. I always imagined myself like him in a sense. Not that I'm getting on a stage and I'm rapping, but I've resonated with his story. I felt like I've been used and abused by some people throughout the years, and I should have my just dues. But yet, when some people heard that I was gonna do my own thing, they're like, "What?" Yeah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
Awesome.
Here's the Cliff Notes story of how that solo is coming. So David, as you know, brought me on to our book, and the book that was before it is called Letters of Love 2. So I'm wrapping that baby up, and we're getting close to the actual launch. And matter of fact, today's date in America time is exactly 2 months of that launch date.
Awesome.
So I'm sitting by myself and I'm thinking about my future. I love Dave. I love J-Monk. I love Blair Hayes. I love the team at Dark Quartz Publishing. And I love Melly DeVoe, respectively. And I've had them all on my show. I can give myself a pat on the back. I can give myself a pat on the back. I have every single one of my publishers. But back to Zachary Shiloh 2 months ago. So I'm actually just sitting and wondering what's my future. I love them all, but something's missing. Something's different. So I feel like Alexander the Great, who vanquished all of his foes, and he just wept for his future. And I can hear, and I'm looking at Blair Hayes, who guested for me twice. I see my dear friend, Dr. Miriam Nesbitt. I see my friend, Sandra Stockowitz, among other people who have guested for me, including you. And I'm saying, what do they have in common? Oh, they all did solo books, or they are in the process of it. That's it. I gotta go solo. So I approached Sandra Stockowitz from Dark Quartz, and she said, "You don't fit my vision." And I said, "Okay, okay," because I wanted to do something with it. So that didn't sit well with me. I wanted it to be with her, but I could hear other people say, "Zach, you've amassed all of this stuff on your own. Why don't you go do it on your own?" And I said, "That's true. That's true. That's true. I actually got this all on my own." And I go back to the Straight Outta Compton movement. I go back to this mini series called The Jacksons and American Dream. And I could always see my favorite characters. And eventually they left the groups that made them famous. And they stood on their own. And the rest is history. It's time for me to do the same.
Absolutely.
So I'm taking 2022 after the 21st, and I hit that monumental 7, which can almost make me cry when I think about it. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing because I put my blood, sweat, and tears into all these things. And I'm not doing any co-authorings unless I know Blair Hayes has letters. I mean, not letters. Leaders. That's the name of that cotton picking book. Melly DeVoe, if she actually does a male-centric letters, then I'll actually have something ready for that. Or if Jan, Brent, and Sandra Sockowitz have Ascension 3, I'll be back for it. But otherwise than that, no more co-authoring.
Time to do your own. Take time out and do your own.
Yeah, it's time to do my own. It's time for me to learn from you. It's time for me to learn from Melly DeVoe, the Dark Quartz team, Blair Hayes, and others who actually are or have done their own books. And
awesome.
It's going to be fun. The actual igniting the passion was quite a learning experience, like how tolerant I am. Like a lesser man would have said, you know what, I'm done. Within like maybe a month or two after knowing David Vine and J-Monk, he would have said, oh, no, I'm not doing this if it's not moving. But because I've been introverted since I was a little kid. I understand people more than the average bear. And that's what makes me work. Even this epidemic has shown me, even though I'm ambivert now, I'm more so on the introvert side. I don't really go out quite so much. If I do, then it's like to work, then to the supermarket or to see certain people. But otherwise than that, I mainly keep to myself. I mainly keep to myself. And I think that's what made David Vine say, let's bring him onto my side of the story. And David Vine, if you ever do watch this, and thank you very much. I do appreciate my slot in this book. Yeah, sure, I was angry, rightfully so. But that didn't mean I didn't love this book. That's why I had to step up. All right, with that.
I say every book has a different culture. Every book has something different. Every book has a different meaning. Every book has a different story and a different journey. So every book that I've done when my own, that I've co-authored or been a contributing author to, has all been a learning experience, and it's all been fun and has a different, you meet so many people. So yeah, writing is great.
Oh man. All right. So we talked about the books enough. Let's gush about your wedding anniversary, your beautiful hon. Let's go talk about that. So how did you meet your hubby, dear?
Oh, right. Well, that's a story in itself, actually. You remember there was a movie, I think it was called Sliding Doors, where if you just went that way, something else happened, or if you went through that door, a different thing happened. So the way I met my husband was almost like that. If I'd done something differently at that one point, I may never have met him. I was studying in Melbourne, which is down in Victoria, and I was living in Canberra at the time, so I was away, and I was doing one of my first diplomas, and I was studying, and I was living with I had a flatmate at the time, and she'd gone out this day. I had a raging cold. Didn't want to go out and do anybody, red nose. I really wasn't looking my best. And she'd gone out, and I was studying at home, and I had a knock on the door and opened the door. I was really not up to wanting visitors. And he was standing there. And I said, oh, hi. And he asked where my flatmate was. And I said, no, she's gone out. And that because he'd come to see her. And I was about ready to close the door, and he sort of said, hang on a minute, I'll be back. Now, I don't know why I just waited for him, but I did, because he'd gone away, put his glasses on, which I always think is hysterically funny. So he came back and we got talking. So he asked me out. It'd just been his birthday. I think it was just his birthday, and we went out. Now, our first date was St Kilda Beach. It's a beach down in Melbourne. We went out, I can't remember that, but our first date was we rescued a dog because we found this dog. So we took this dog to a home because it was rolling around. Next thing we did was we ended up on St Kilda Beach. It was a full moon. There's a beach. And there's Peter, my husband, quoting poetry that he wrote to me. Well, what's a girl got to do? I was a goner. So we just started dating. About 2-3 months after that, he said to me one day, he said, I'm going to marry you. And I said, no, you're not, because I had my life planned. I was finishing up my study that year. Then I was going to go to Perth, which is on the other side of Australia. And I was going to work in my as a medical records administrator. So I wasn't getting married. But we dated all that year. And we came to the end of the year when I finished my course, and I was going back home to Canberra for a while. And I sat there and thought, you know what? I'm going to miss him. I don't think I want to. So he asked me to marry me. And that we were engaged for 12 months, and he moved up to Canberra. And the 12 months we were engaged, I was actually working in Sydney and he was living in Canberra. So we were having to meet each other. And yeah, that's 45 years ago.
Oh, that's so great.
So if I hadn't stayed home, I may never have met him. So just change on one little thing that you do. That's my story. It's nothing really huge, but that's just
that's huge to me. You're silly woman. That's huge to me. I've been single now, like what is it, over 2 years? I love whenever people tell me how they meet their spouses. So it means a lot to me.
You're welcome.
Who's actually single and don't have quote unquote body, but kids out there, you know where Zachary Shiloh possibly going with this. Zachary Shiloh's honey kids.
So that's how we met. That's me. That's our story. It's 45 years and 2 children later and several different things that we've been doing.
Ooh, kinky, kinky, kinky kid. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've had our ups, we've had our downs. We've had some things in the marriage that have happened. Could have been the end, but no, we've been strong all the way through.
I love it. I love hearing people who've actually had like 40-year marriages. There's one guy who's kind of Asian that works for Amazon, and we work in the same warehouse. So I meet him on Wednesdays and Thursdays, or Thursdays and Fridays, something like that. And whenever I talk to him, I'm always talking to him about his wife. Like his actual wife works there. I didn't know this until like maybe a month ago. And I'd seen her, and they complement each other very well. And every single time I see them together, I always say, God bless it. That's just great to see. And I would love for the universe to put me with somebody that I work with. Like there was this girl that I had a crush on who lives in Virginia, who was in the same book as David and I. But we fell out some months ago. Sometimes I do think of her. But she told me something that never left me. She didn't want to be with me because we practically worked together. We were co-authors or whatever. And it never left me. And we stopped talking because of differences that went beyond it. But I actually seen people who did get their spouses by working together. Like Blair Hayes, my mentor, my greatest influence, a dear friend. She found her present husband about 4 years ago, working in a hotel. And her husband quit because he found her so attractive. And I don't blame him. If I actually saw the Barkins, I would have done the same thing. But back to the story at hand, those two complement each other. And they found each other randomly working in the same place.
I think if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, Zach. You find who you need. And yeah, he's always been my support. It's the wind beneath my wings. Whatever I wanted to do, he's always been there to help me. And yeah, we fight. That's okay.
I'm not hearing that sometimes.
We're not perfect. No relationship is perfect. It's just that we talk, we communicate, and we love each other. So there you go. 45 years.
Okay, and we're gonna start wrapping this up.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you have anything forthcoming that does not have David Bynes' influence at all coming up?
I have lots. I mean, this is the only book that I'm in with. Oh, well, hang on. I've done the forward for him. They're the only 2 books that I've done for David. What I've been doing? Oh, I have a book coming out next year. I have 2 books coming out next year. One is called A to Z of Public Speaking from an introvert and an extrovert point of view. So that's coming out.
Oh, wow.
nearly finished. And then the other book is my son's story, Craig. We lost our son Craig to suicide in 2007, which is why I did that. And it's got part of the story in there with 23 other authors who've sharing their story. But this will be Craig's story. I've been working on it for quite a while, and it hopefully will be coming out around about October next year. It's his story because I want his memory to be there. And quite often when we lose people, especially when we lose people to suicide, we don't know how to speak about it, or people don't know how to speak about it. And you can't ignore someone's life. My son was here on earth for 23 years. I want to celebrate that. Yes, we lost him and we'll never know why, but I'm celebrating the 23 years I had of him. So it'll be his story about what happened and about his life. So those are two books coming out next year at the moment.
All right. And you can count on Zachary Shiloh to actually at least buy one of them, at least. All right. With that said, my dear, it's time to wrap up because I know you got to go eat and be with the hubby. All right.
I'm going to have breakfast. I'm going to have some breakfast. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay. With that said, because of Zoom being wonky sometimes, I've had to reformat my outro. So it starts off like this. Your hopes for the future, my dear Trish Springsteen, are?
My hopes for the future?
Yes.
That I will always be able to share my stories, that I can leave a legacy with my mentoring, with my coaching, with my speaking, with my writing, that I can be able to reach out and touch people, because for me, the biggest thing is seeing other people grow, and I can help them write their stories or help them speak their message or help them live their life or have the business they want. Then that's what I'm doing. I'm touching and leaving ripples in my life. And I hope that everybody has fun and just have fun in life. Live each day and have fun. Life is just so short to be so angry all the time. Let's just have fun and live and communicate and be with people. Enjoy the world. It's an awesome, awesome place, Zachary.
Oh, thank you very much for that part. I'm jonesing now. That is great. Only if David Vaughn would understand that. Only if he would understand that. I tried to tell him something like that months ago. He's like, no. I said, come on, Dave. Come on. You gotta get out your house, dude. You gotta do something fun. That's not your wife and kids. You gotta do something.
You need to be yourself, Zachary. You just got to be who you are, which is why I like unicorns, which is why I talk about Purple Unicorn Marketing Academy, because it's all about being you. It's all about being you uniquely and celebrating your uniqueness. So be you and stand up and say, here I am.
Oh, I love you, Colby.
Well, I like purple. In case no one realized, I love purple.
Oh God. When your stuff comes out, hon, I'm bringing you back next year. I'm bringing you back next year.
Be delighted to. Anytime, Zach. Anytime.
Okay. With that said, if not now, my beloved, can I have 3 people that's not in our cast that you think would go good with me to be interviewed?
Oh, 3 people.
You don't have to have them right now. Within the next week.
I would. I'll have 3 people. I have my publisher. She would be interested to speaking with you. I've got a couple of other people. Yeah.
You have a different publisher that is thinking of me?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow. That's cool beans. Okay.
I have a publisher. I've self-published my own books. And I've had one publisher who I work with. We've done a couple of events with authors. This one here, which is one that we published, it's called Get Known, Be Seen. It has a chapter for me, has a chapter for my publisher. And what we did, we organized an event and brought 10 authors together who displayed their books, and they each spoke for 10 minutes. And then we took their presentations and put it into that compilation. So a book doesn't have to be hard to write. I always say to my people, 500 words a day for 30 days is a 15,000 word book. That is a reasonable size book, and there you have it. So you don't have to get up.
I'm tingling all over. Well, good thing I actually just stayed for igniting the passion after all. I don't regret it.
Certainly have somebody, I'll give you some names.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, with that said, for the true outro, what can I, Zachary Shiloh or Zachary Shiloh Watts, what can I do for you, beloved, going forward?
Going forward, look, you can just share my books around. You can let people know that I have, I'm quite happy to be on be interviewed by them on their podcasts, their shows. If anybody wants a speaker from Australia, whether, well, at the moment, probably be more online than offline, I'm happy to come and speak at someone's events and that. Just let people know who I am. And if anybody wants to work with me, they can find me. There's my website up there.
Okie dokie, that's fair. Well, with that said, kids, I love me some Trish Springsteen. Please support her. Please support the unicorn love. She's absolutely great. Please support her. If you don't, Zachary Shiloh will be roaring all over your hinds. Support Trish. That's what I say. All right. With that said, one goal, one aim, one road, one focus, and that's lovins. Even if it sounds like I'm venting, I am passionate. That's all I am. Even if I'm going after David Vine and J Ma, which I have, and I more likely will. I love them. That's why I do it. Even those two knuckleheads know that I care about them. I am even passionate about these fools I live with. I love them because they raised me. And I love all of you. With that said, this has been round 2 of what Zachary Shiloh has been calling Breakfast Club in Black Lion's Domain. I will see you in the next live stream when one Terry Tonkin arrives. See